Sri Abir Ranjan Biswas.
Today is the second day of the session. Full afternoon, RSS Rajya Sabha is running smoothly. Governance, legislative business is on track because all of us in opposition are cooperating 100%. We can also hope that the government shows the same spirit of cooperation every morning, and always opposition voices are heard in the morning during 0 hour and question hours. My party, All India Trinamool Congress, strongly believes the bills must be scrutinized by parliamentary standing committees before they are passed. This is a good way to improve legislation and not rush through with them. Sir, this was one of the few bills which got scrutinized by standing committee, but and we welcome it, though the recommendations were not aptly taken. Sir, even though the opening speaker of the BJP who just spoke had highlighted many shortcomings of the bill, you can well imagine the quality of the drafting. Sir, Nobel laureate Kazuo Ishiguro, in his novel Never Let Me Go, portrays a scenario where a community of cloned humans exists only to serve the medical needs of more privileged class, providing organs and bodies for use. Arati Prasad, eminent biologist and author of several non-fiction books on science, had observed in her book, Like a Virgin, and I quote, "In the last few years, India has actually illustrated the extreme of what commercializing a woman's body for reproduction looks like. Something akin to the Handmaid's Tale come to life, with a certain demographic taking over the responsibility of producing children for those who can afford the service. Surrogacy inherently a practice that is open to exploitation, particularly in a place like India, where gender inequality is so marked. In United Nations Development Programme Report 2017 on gender equality, India ranked 125th among 159 countries. In 2016, sir, a study found that expenditure on major illness for women was 28% lesser than on men in India. An analysis of data from numerous Indian medical and research institutions reveals that Indian women are 74% of living kidney donors and 61% of living liver donors, but only meager 19% of kidney and 24% of liver recipients. Each was a legitimate donation where the woman had given consent. Thus, we can easily say that in South Asian patriarchal society in general and in India in particular, women are often told to donate organs and not asked to do so. Now, if this is the situation in altruistic donation that is related to livers and kidneys, then we can well imagine the plight of Indian women in case of commercial surrogacy, a system only women are biologically equipped for. Poor women folk in India could be pressurized to the brink of their existence by the family to bear a child of some rich couple who fancy such commercial surrogacy as going to a luxury store and asking for a service in lieu of a sum of money, maybe very little for them, but considerable amount for the poor surrogate and her family. Thus, we welcome this bill, as it will, with the provisions in it, serve as a good deterrent against repeat surrogates due to family pressure. Gynecologists are often of the opinion only women who do not have wombs or have cancer actually require surrogacy. But taking unethical advantage of situations, there are unethical practitioners and unscrupulous fertility clinics who make billions out of people's natural inability to conceive, advertising themselves by inviting media to their facility to exhibit the stay homes for surrogate mothers, which are essentially jails. They appear on paid slots of TV, these professionals and fertility clinic representatives. They appear on TV channels to advocate the cause of commercial surrogacy in a way as if bearing a child in a natural way is unfashionable. And we find even most eminent of Bollywood stars being carried away by it and falling into the traps. Many such clinics are rampantly present in the western part of India, where recent stories have come up in the media of rural women being exploited severely by certain unscrupulous persons, where rural women have been exploited by clinical and ethical medical practitioners who have paid a paltry sum to them but had charged few millions in each case. Sir, the Confederation of Indian Industries has valued the surrogacy industry to be at $2 billion US, most astonishingly that too in 2012, and it had boomed much more by the time we are in. This has been the result of processes of surrogacy being governed by mere set of guidelines of Indian Council of Medical Research since 2002, which permitted the use of women to bear a child at a price Such lax regulations give rise to the term rent-a-womb. Sir, this has unsettling implications despite its nearly ubiquitous use. The spirit of the new surrogacy bill seems implications despite its nearly the spirit of the new surrogacy bills seems to be guided by the framework of transplantation of Human Organs Act 1994, which permits only altruistic donation for all donors, living or deceased. And sir, donations must be made for a reason of love, though the donor can be compensated for surgical and medical costs. Thus, sir, we welcome this bill in it that it will make legal provisions to take care all such illegalities and unethical ventures. But also there are a number of areas which more attention and legal provisions are needed to achieve the goal this bill aims for. Sir, I would like to elaborate upon this, that there are a number of cases which needs our immediate attention, and that is, sir, firstly, sir, relating to relating to the concerns to immediately check the rampant use of commercial surrogacy till at national and regional surrogacy boards are formed. There should be a highly powered committee in place till these are formed, which includes members of parliament and eminent practitioners and pioneers in the field of assisted reproductive techniques, which could inspect and monitor these clinics. Also, sir, the composition of the national regional surrogacy boards are dubious here. It should be seen that the ones who head the boards as directors have at least 25 years of experience in ART, and the members should also be of at least 20 years. These were sessions, sir. Also, sir, we can say, while we move into things, that there are many clauses which my colleagues have mentioned. I would like to mention a few. I wouldn't like to repeat them, but a few things. Sir, in case of abortion, in addition to complying to Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act 1971, the approval of appropriate authority and surrogate mother is required. There is no time limit to grant such an approval, but this time is crucial in medical emergencies and in pregnancies, and this could prove fatal for the surrogate mother. So this needs to be taken care of. So it is discriminatory in nature, as it limits the option of the surrogacy to legally married Indian couples. The standing committee that had been headed by one of our honorable colleagues in this house, August House, Dr. Ram Gopal Yadav ji, they had recommended and that this overlooks the section of society wanting a surrogate child. So it had recommended that the eligibility be widened to include live-in couples, divorced women, widows, further to NRIs, persons of Indian origin and overseas citizens and Indian card holders. This, sir, because if NRIs are going to take this opportunity, that will be very costly for them. Also, sir, there is a case of initiate the surrogacy procedure. All interested parties are needed to take a certificate, eligibility certificate. But again, sir, there is no time limit mentioned in this bill. This is not in right spirit. There is no scope also, sir, for appeal once their application is rejected. So the standing committee had recommended for this, and this should be taken care of. Thank you, sir.
And keep it in mind, Mr. Biswas, next time, written speech is not allowed in this house.